Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching this video. Today I just wanted to share some knowledge about the windshield windshield wiper, the motor in these older vehicles. So they have a vacuum motor, which just operates off of the engine vacuum. But when you accelerate, of course, they slow down. You know, they can come to a complete stop, and so you can convert by using an electric motor, and that's what I have here, and that's what I'll be doing today. I probably won't go into a whole lot of detail because it's supposed to just install like the one that you remove, and you can see this has a bracket on it, so I'm assuming that it just kind of bolts right in, and it has another bracket in the bottom of the box that you can't see, but I'll get that out and show it to you before I install it. I have the components out of the box. They look good. The welds look good. You don't have any welding spatter, you know, like you would see on parts that are manufactured. Switch knob and the switch here, I'm assuming it has two knobs. I haven't read the directions yet, but so, and then the bracket. So we'll get started. The instructions are telling us to remove the original wiper motor and plug up the vacuum lines basically, and then remove the wiper arms. So that's what we'll do. That's the vacuum motor that we have to remove, and I've accessed it through the I guess it's just like a trim plate that's on the dash that's next to the ashtray, but I'm repurposing that for something else. So and I'll show that in the videos to follow this. But so yeah, we have to get back in there and get that. So I hope it doesn't interfere with the we have a doubled in head unit that we're putting in, so I hope it doesn't interfere with that, and that's my only worry. If it does, we'll have to figure something else out. Okay, so we have it loose, and I'm taking this video shot through the gauge, where the gauges are usually at. So probably take your gauges out to have better access. Or I had access from the underneath. See, that's the vacuum hose right here. So I just went underneath the dash, and these are the screws that I removed. I removed 2 of those, you know, with a flathead screwdriver, and it released the motor. Now we have to go to the outside and undo the wiper blades. So I removed the first blade, and it removes like a typical blade on the older vehicle. You just have to pull this tab back right here. You can use something like a flat blade screwdriver or something like a pick like that. And this one was on pretty good. It didn't slide right off because someone at some point had put, seems to be like a piece of fabric or maybe duct tape over it, and you know, put it on, and it was holding it tight. So just be sure to protect your paint if you have, you know, a vehicle that you don't want to scratch, you know, and you should be okay. This is self-explanatory, and this is a 3/4 inch combination wrench. Just take it, you know, counterclockwise, take the nut off, and that goes back through the inside of the vehicle. Protect your paint if you think you might scratch it. Something I probably should have done while I was at the store, because I went to pick this part up at a local store, is, you know, buy the gaskets too, you know. Usually the person that's selling the parts, they'll, you know, try to suggest parts that you might want to get, and a lot of times I say no. That's probably why he didn't suggest it, but I wish he would have suggested that I purchase this this gasket here, because I'll need it. That's gonna cost me another trip to the store. Now that we have the wiper arms off, and then the transmission linkage is off, I'm gonna attempt to pull it out with one hand, and you can see it comes out through the glove box with just fairly easily. I have it in what I believe is the correct orientation for both the motors, how it would sit in the truck. So as relation to, you know, each other, not actually how it's going to sit in the truck, but it has a spring here which is holding tension on these clips. And what I'll do is just remove these and see if I can do it. Yep, hold the camera at the same time. And so, yeah, just take that off and just repeat that step on these two. Take these, the linkages off, and swap them over to there, and it should be the correct positioning. And then we'll put it back into the truck. Seems like there's always an extra step that are not in the instructions, but this rubber grommet is going to have to be removed, because you see it won't fit over that. It actually has a collar that goes up. You can see the collar that arm fits on, and then there's almost like a flange that seats over it. So we're going to do it like that and see how it works. Yep, it's almost a machine fit once you get it down on it like that. I don't know if I made a mistake or what has happened, but I don't like that. You can see it comes up off of the shoulder, you know, and it could move in that direction. I don't like that, so I'm going to add some washers to it. Just going to put these two washers, one on each one, and see if that'll hold it down a little bit better. I'll feel better about it if I do it that way. That seemed to have been a simple fix for it, and it won't raise up over the shoulder where it can have movement off of the shoulder, you know. So that's all I was concerned about. So that seemed to have solved it. So I'll go ahead and install it in the truck. So this bracket here goes at the bottom, and I'll have to modify it by bending more angle into it. I needed more of a 90-degree angle right here for it to work for what I have. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll install it. I bent a little bit more of an angle in it. I don't know if you can tell, but it's more of a 90 now. I think that's going to work. Put a screw through that bracket. It's about a 2-inch screw, and that'll be plenty long enough. Just going to use that as a stud and put another nut on it here, and then put the bracket there, and then put another nut behind the bracket. Clamp it down with the 2 nuts, and that'll hold it in place. Bolt this to the bracket that's attached to the truck dash. It's almost time for the electrical hookup, but let's review what we did first before we get to the electrical. First thing the directions said to do is to take out the vacuum motor. So we undid the 2 screws from under the dash, got the vacuum motor out, came out to the outside of the truck, unclipped the wiper arms, and then removed the nut. Now that's a 3/4 nut you have to remove on both sides. That's the new motor, the electrical motor that's inside, and it's a 12-volt motor. You have an option to get a 6 or a 12-volt. So this is a 12-volt system, so we got a 12-volt. And that's pretty much all you have to do is take out the old and then reinstall the arms on the new motor and go back in just like it came out, basically. and add a few extra brackets, and I'll show you the bracket. This bracket here is the extra bracket. That wasn't on the original, so there's a hole here in this bracket that's already on the truck. So I'm not sure if that's how this goes. I think it, in the directions, it shows it going back the other direction, and it has an oversized washer so it can kind of clamp on the underside of this channel. But I didn't like it like that, so rather have a hole. So there's a pre-drill hole here, so I just use this stud, this screw as a stud, and put a nut here, and then there's a nut on the back side to hold this firmly, and it does. As far as the electrical goes, this switch comes in the kit, right? So it's already pre-wired, and it has its own harness. So that's straightforward and simple. I know you're thinking probably it's going to be like a lot of wiring, but it's not. Just hook this to a switch, or you can hook it to a, you know, like a constant 12 volts or 6 volts or whatever. But I'm going to hook it to the switched, like the maybe the ignition wire or whatever that comes on when the ignition is on. Not even the accessories, because usually your wipers don't come on until, you know, if you have an electric wiper motor, they don't come on until you turn on the ignition switch. This is pretty self-explanatory. You can mount it wherever you want to mount it at, and use whatever knob you want to use. They have a knob that comes with it. That's actually looks like the vacuum switch knob, or the vacuum motor controller knob. But what we'll do is I'll probably end up using this knob and mounting it, I don't know, maybe in one of the holes that are pre-existing, but we'll figure that out as soon as I do it. But to test it out, I have a if you want to test it out to see if it's binding up, I have a battery box, and I have the ground hooked to the chassis ground. And see if I can show you the ground for this. It goes up and it's hooked to a it's hard to get up in there, but that's the ground, and I'll try to include a photo of it with like an arrow where you can see it. But either way, see if I can get this focus back in. But you can just, you know, run it from, you know, the battery box. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and turn my switch on to the low setting. It says test it out, so you might want to bump it when you test it instead of just you know, because you're not going to be able to get your hands back on that switch. So you can just you know, bump it like this to test it out, and you can see I need to adjust the wipers so they won't go all the way down onto the body. But so now it's not binding up, and we're running at low speed, full stroke. So we'll just go ahead and adjust the where each wiper arm sits so it won't go down on the body. So that pretty much wraps up this video. And if you want to know what all this other stuff is going to look like, or even what it is when I'm finished, follow, and you know, I'll keep posting videos of the as I finish it up, and you'll be able to see the complete truck. The wiper conversion is complete. The wiper motor conversion from vacuum to electric is complete. So the wipers are pretty much set. I wired it in, put the switch here. As I said before, I was going to wire it to the ignition when the ignition is on. So we'll check it out. The ignition is on, so turn them on. They oscillate back and forth. Turn the ignition off. They stay in place. They don't return. They just stay in place with the ignition off. Turn the switch off. Turn the ignition on. They return. And go ahead and start it up and see how it operates. So that's on fast. That's as fast as they go. That's as fast as they would run, so I guess it's better than a vacuum. You know, when you accelerate, they just stop or whatever. So if you want to see more about this truck, just subscribe to my channel. And I've posted a lot of videos already, and I'll keep posting them in the future. This truck has come a long way. We've done a lot to it. So if you want to find out more about it, like I say, just go to subscribe to my channel, and I'll keep posting the videos. And if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.